Nos últimos 20 anos, um novo tipo de gente se desenvolveu. Eles têm cultura, tecnologia e linguagem próprias. Entre eles há piratas e ladrões, celebridades e filósofos, criminosos e policiais, heróis e vilões. Operam no mundo todo, mas seu lar é o ciberespaço. E agora há um conflito entre seus vilões e anjos. Essa é a história secreta das diferentes missões, que agora guiam as pessoas conhecidas como hackers. Hackers, criminosos e anjos. « 24 horas por dia, 7 dias por semana. Há uma guerra sendo travada na rede. Dennis Trees lidera uma linha de frente de defensores, prontos para detectar e neutralizar novos ataques.
This is the Global Threat Operations Center. This is where we monitor the hacker threat 24 hours a day on 4 continents.
Parece a ponte de comando da Enterprise. Minuto a minuto, hora por hora, todo ataque é analisado. Cada um deles pode ser o precursor de um ataque maior, disparada por um hacker em qualquer parte do mundo.
We had just about 400 pre-attack probes. In that hour, 1,500 denial of service attacks in that hour.
No ano passado, interceptaram 83 milhões de ataques de hackers às redes que protegem no mundo todo.
He is flying through an asteroid belt all the time. He's constantly being inundated with, decisions to go around these things, up, over, etc. What is it? Is it going to hit the ship? And if it does, is it big enough to do us any damage? It's a computerized game. The bad guys against the good guys, if you will.
A emergência dos bons da internet como Dennis é resultado de ataques dos maus. Contra grandes alvos nos últimos 20 anos. Um dos primeiros foi lançado pelo lendário Capitão Zap. O homem por trás das imagens cômicas era adolescente, ao entrar para o hall da fama dos hackers.
You just mentioned Captain Zap and they go, old history, oh my God, bow.
O alvo do Capitão Zap era o sistema de cobranças computadorizado da AT&T.
The telephone rates are too high, just in general. So why not reduce the rates for some people? Or all people?
Para reunir o conhecimento para a missão, Capitão Zap procurou um modo de entrar no sistema telefônico.
We would go dumpster diving at the phone company offices late at night. Because they don't throw out food, they don't throw out garbage, they throw out manuals. A huge box of weather-protected data that I can come after and get from you. It kind of gives you a good snapshot view of their daily existence, morning, noon, and night.
Armado de munição hacker, Capitão Zap vai trabalhar.
Sit down in front of the terminal, turn it on, and start hacking. And spend hours and hours trying to get in. And then once you got in, you were, do you want to play a game? Well, you would dial into their maintenance ports. And because there was no protection back then, the maintenance ports would automatically answer. The system would come up and identify itself as, hi, this is the Ardmore switch. Number 5 ESS, log on, password, guest, you're in.
Capitão Zap definia-se como um Robin Hood moderno, fora da lei eletrônico.
We decided that we were going to change the clocks and the switches around the country so that everybody got free long distance or discounted long distance.
Ele conseguiu mudar os relógios no sistema de telefonia, dando descontos a todos em horários de pico. Na linguagem dos hackers, ele ganhou.
I knew more about the phone company switches than they did.
Nas mãos do Capitão Zap, nos computadores da AT&T, dias viraram noites. E noites viraram dias.
We changed their clocks so that it was an exact 12-hour difference.
Milhões de americanos economizaram. Mas nenhum deles sabia. Nem a companhia telefônica.
Ian was one of the pioneers. Ian was one of the first people to recognize the bad things that you could do with computers. He didn't have a lot of people going before him that he had to emulate. He's sort of an original. He's one of the first generation of hackers, the people that figured out how to do it when figuring out how to do it was really difficult.
Capitão Zap descobriu que podia hackear quase tudo, em qualquer lugar. Iniciava-se uma carreira de danos.
According to Wired magazine, the top hack ever done by any hacker was the AT&T time clock hacking. They consider that the finest hack ever.
Seu feito só foi descoberto quando enviaram as contas. E ele já tinha sumido no cyberespaço. Só o pegaram 18 meses depois.
I was naturally curious. I could have sold drugs, or I could have stolen cars, or been a rock musician, but no, I decided to become a techno freak. And it was a whole lot easier, and there were no laws against it.
20 anos depois, há essas leis. A divisão de crimes de computador da polícia de Nova York está crescendo para lidar com o peso do seu trabalho. E tem o apoio de um laboratório de previsão de computadores. Seu chefe é o sargento Jimmy Doyle, para quem os hackers usam novas armas para velhos crimes.
Basically, what you have is an individual that may do web defacements, break into that website, change the page a little bit. That would be the equivalent of graffiti artist. Then you'll have someone that would break in to steal something, a burglar. Go up a little bit more, someone who wants to commit crime, who's going to use his skills to steal money. And as you see, you're going up and up. And then I guess at the top of the pile will be the cyber. Someone wants to create a great amount of fear through their skills by taking down power grids or attacking financial institutions. They would be the top of the pile.
Antigamente, os criminosos se escondiam atrás de máscaras. Hoje, usam os computadores.
From crime as way back as when you would have your Western robberies and someone will run in, they would try to stay anonymous. They would put masks on because it'd be hard to identify themselves. Now, if you take that and fast forward it to the year 2002, it's the same basic principle. I mean, you don't have a person putting on a mask, they're sitting behind a computer.
Pelo menos um hacker usa máscara além do computador. KP teme que a polícia inglesa queira falar sobre um ataque a uma empresa de celulares. Ele foi além do Capitão Zap e aumentou as contas de seus desafetos.
I did look up several people that I was having a disagreement with at the time, trying them through that database, and made several slight changes to the billing records, but nothing so conspicuous as to be noticed. Turning their service off, having them blacklisted, it was great. I was sat up until 4 or 5 in the morning just knowing that I was the one person that was doing what I was doing and nobody could even come close and touch me.
Na luta para rastrear hackers, o grupo de prevenção usa o equivalente a impressões digitais eletrônicas. No século XXI, a cena do crime é geralmente o disco rígido de um computador. Os discos suspeitos são apreendidos ou clonados.
What we do on occasion is either go in and use these devices to make an exact copy of the suspect's hard drive and then bring it back here for analysis.
They think they're protected by this screen, but it's pretty much, it's like chasing the invisible man. Even the invisible man leaves a footstep or two, a footprint or two, and you follow along.
A explosão de criminosos online obrigou a polícia de Nova York a aumentar o pelotão contra crimes de computador, que é o que mais cresce.
Okay, let's go get bad guys. After you.
Com a mesma rapidez que os detetives digitais se armaram, os hackers desenvolveram software que escaneia em busca de furos de segurança e sistemas vulneráveis.
I scan networks 24 hours a day. I have a computer sitting at the flat on a clocked basis that dial up using 4 different phone lines and look for codes for me, and I come back, get in, see what they found, and you're going to find that security hole that nobody else will find, and you will get in and you will exploit that, and they will never catch you.
Para estar à altura, o Serviço de Segurança de Ameaça Global da Internet reúne-se diariamente. Trocam conhecimentos sobre atividades hackers com colegas pelo mundo e no FBI. Precisam estar em contato. Sabem que haverá novos furos e que os hackers os descobrirão e explorarão. Depois de atualizados, discutem o nível de ameaças que internet e usuários vão sofrer nas próximas 24 horas. Hoje fixaram o nível de alerta no número 1 de rotina. Mesmo nesse nível, calculam que todo computador desprotegido, ao se conectar, será atacado em menos de um dia.
At AlertCon 1, an unprotected computer will be compromised within 24 hours of connecting it to the internet.
20 anos depois do Capitão Zap mudar os relógios da AT&T, a equipe de Dennis combate ataque de hackers, numa média de 2 por segundo. No coração da América corporativa, o temor aos hackers fez nascer uma nova profissão. Brian Holyfield, 26 anos de idade, tem uma carreira diferente em Wall Street. Ele é um hacker ético. Ele e seu time são pagos para invadir computadores de grandes empresas. São chamados de time dos tigres.
A Tiger Team is a group of computer security professionals that a company hires to try and break into their networks from the internet. And the reason they do this is that they want to make sure that they can identify all the potential security issues. That way they can minimize the risk of someone that's an enemy of the company, for example, doing the same thing.
Eles se autodenominam hackers éticos, os mais angelicais. Mas Brian é pago para mentir e trapacear, para conseguir toda a informação possível. Hoje, com a bênção da diretoria, ele se prepara para tornar-se Will, o hacker.
Hi, Jim. This is Will Rogers over in IT. How are you? Doing good, doing good. You got a couple minutes, or did I interrupt? Is this a bad time? Okay, great.
Sua missão é fazer os funcionários revelarem a senha. Ele diz que é do departamento de tecnologia. Finge checar se a senha serve para as mudanças no sistema. Nada disso é verdade. Surpreendentemente, a técnica sempre rende frutos.
For example, what exactly is the password that you're using, and I'll see if it'll actually work with the system we're going to implement. Okay.
Brian convenceu vários funcionários a entregar a senha. Agora pode usá-las para obter segredos da empresa.
You could do a lot of damage with the information that we see, and there's a lot of privileged information that we see on a day-to-day basis. So you've really got to have a strong sense of ethics. We could obtain, let's say, access to a company's credit card database. Well, you know, your typical hacker out there is going to take the credit cards and try and sell them somewhere and make a profit off of it. We're not. We're just going to, you know, document how we were able to obtain access to that information. We're going to recommend to our clients how to fix it.
O hacker ético é um jeito limpo de ganhar a vida e diverte o Capitão Zapp. Um serviço que ele faria de graça.
The money is kind of just the icing on the cake to all of it. The money pays for the toys that you get to buy. Hacking is actually the best reward. But being paid to be allowed to commit crime is absolutely genius and American.
It's a lot tougher than one would think. I mean, you know, trying to keep a straight face and trying to lie is not that easy for someone who's pretty honest.
Ethical hackers don't have the mindset. They are above board, nice people. You hire an evil, rotten son of a bitch if you want a job done. Right? It comes down to this. Dirty deeds done really expensive. And that's the way it should be. You know, learn to hire the thief to tell you how to steal something. Don't hire a cop.
Porém, 70% dos ataques nunca são informados à polícia. Muitas empresas grandes recorrem a Alan Brill. Ele era um agente da inteligência e dirige a equipe contra o crime high-tech na maior agência particular de detetives, a Kroll. Dia e noite, sua equipe usa kits móveis de detecção de hackers, ajuda as empresas a contê-los e guarda segredo dessas invasões.
We work for the corporation. We can help them to understand without having to go to government. Once you go to government, they really control the case. Will they take the case? Who's going to prosecute it? What publicity will there be about it? In this day and age of volatility in the markets, that's not always something you want to take a chance with. But you can't afford not to know what happened.
O trabalho aqui é vencer os hackers. Burlar as senhas, clonar os HDs e atacar drives suspeitos. A equipe de informática de Alan é de gente que poderia ter direcionado seu talento para a pirataria.
There is a difference. The difference is this. I think the typical computer forensic specialist is somebody that has that skill set, but whose moral compass has rusted on good.
Eles podem estar do lado dos anjos, mas manter segredos sobre os ataques é bom também para outros mocinhos. Administradores de sistema que defendem as redes preferem deixar os seus chefes no escuro quando descobrem que os bandidos marcaram ponto.
Absolutely. There's a lot more that goes on. A lot of people, you know, job security, they're in fear that, you know, if their boss found out that they left a vulnerability open in the system, upper management might not understand.
A ansiedade desse tipo de profissional é tanta que todos os anos centenas deles se matriculam em cursos. Aqui, o mocinho aprende a vencer o bandido. Os alunos vêm do país inteiro. Devem ser escolhidos a dedo, porque esta é uma escola de hackers.
If you can't think like the hackers, then you can't figure out what it is they're trying to do. Probably my biggest nightmare would be that hackers breaking into my network and publishing financial information or something about my company. What would happen to me? Would get yelled at a lot, probably get fired.
seriously.
Enquanto James se preocupa com o emprego, Pete White, seu colega na Extreme Hacking, também está ansioso quanto à sua empresa. O tempo todo, Pete é responsável por evitar que dados sobre os pacientes saiam de hospital no centro de Houston.
It's my job. We're responsible for making sure that being in a hospital environment, that patient data doesn't get out to the general public. Your reputation is based upon your ability to keep patient data confidential. And if we violate that, then we're not in business very much longer. It would make for a very bad day.
Na escola Extreme Hacking, Brian Holyfield, o hacker ético, é um dos instrutores. Em poucas horas, ele e a sua equipe transformaram os alunos em hackers.
They are hacking and they are also learning how to protect against each hack that they carry out. They are real-world examples and we're always updating the material so that it accurately covers what's happening out in the wild.
The bad guys have to find one way in, the good guys have to find all the ways in.
Graças a Brian e seus colegas, após 4 dias, um novo time de anjos se apronta para a batalha. Os instrutores esperam que nenhum dos alunos mude de lado.
Using it for bad, I don't do that. I mean, I don't understand why you would, what's the thrill of going and breaking into someone's systems,
Infelizmente, para a escola de hackers, uma nova geração de bandidos acha que tem graça sim, e muita. Os mocinhos devem estar prontos para qualquer ataque. No Global Trade Center, a atenção é voltada para o perito em internet Carter Schoenberg. Ele viu algo estranho. Um grande sistema eletrônico de canais por onde a internet trafega está sendo afetado por um ataque suspeito. Parece estar atravessando o Pacífico e se dirigindo aos Estados Unidos.
Indonesia is pretty much getting slammed.
Appear to be starting the Pacific Rim, making its way towards North America. South America still seems to be okay, but it seems like it's making its way towards North America.
Talvez seja um ataque à infraestrutura da internet.
Appears that for whatever the reason, whatever this causes, it's moving with the sun, starting in the Pacific Rim, making its way towards the U.S.
You're witnessing trench warfare on the internet.
Se o ataque atingir o país durante o expediente, pode afetar milhões de pessoas.
If it hits the North American continent like it's been hitting everybody else, and then anybody that has an attachment to the pipeline, any pipeline, would probably see some significant degradation.
O tráfego dependente dessa rede pode parar. Carter checa com a estação irmã no sudoeste da Ásia. Enquanto isso, as duas estações veem o sistema se recuperar. E tudo acaba tão rápido quanto teve início.
It was just one of these anomalies, but it's an anomaly that when it happens, we were on top of it right when it occurred. We were able to bring it to everybody's attention.
Não ficou claro se foi obra de algum hacker. Mas por alguns minutos, foi o tipo de ataque que os mocinhos mais temem. Um Pearl Harbor eletrônico. A ameaça de uma verdadeira infoguerra.
InfoWar is very real, and the possibility of InfoWar being used in coordination with an attack in electronic Pearl Harbor is absolutely a possibility and is an event that we effectively think we're waiting to happen.
Durante os anos 90, os computadores militares dos Estados Unidos se defenderam de um ataque desses por Bob Ayers e sua equipe.
I was director of the U.S. DoD Defensive Information Warfare Program. So if you think of the security program as keeping individuals out, think of the Defensive Information Warfare Program as designed to keep nation-states out of DoD systems.
Há hackers trabalhando para mais de 100 governos.
127 nation-states have an active offensive information warfare program underway.
Na metade dos anos 90, um dos projetos militares mais secretos dos Estados Unidos, o Stealth Bomber, foi alvo dos hackers. Possíveis vazamentos poderiam ocorrer.
extremely sensitive. It's sensitive to this very day. At the time, the existence of the aircraft was known. However, any of the characteristics, or indeed even the image of the aircraft itself, was not known. So it was an item of high curiosity.
Os segredos da tecnologia do stealth estavam nos computadores da base Rivers, em Rome, Nova York, sede dos laboratórios de P&D da Força Aérea.
A system administrator at Griffiths Air Force Base in New York noticed the attacks taking place. He noticed it 3 days after they began. And as soon as he noticed it, he reported it to my organization, and the reaction process then began.
Sabiam que era um ataque de hackers ao projeto, mas não sabiam de onde vinha.
There was a great deal of concern evidenced by these attacks because the U.S. didn't know where they were coming from.
É uma dificuldade clássica para os mocinhos. Os hackers são perfeitos espiões, pois se escondem nas sombras do cyberespaço.
The problem is hackers typically come through multiple launch points. And so they kind of play hopscotch on the internet. You see typically the last IP address that they came from into your network. And that'll resolve back to some computer that they have hacked into and taken over for the purposes of masking who they really are.
It was very difficult to go back through the chain of hops to find the actual source. So the technical attempts to, in the terms of the day, to hack back to find the source failed.
Quem poderia querer tais dados? Os suspeitos foram forças estrangeiras hostis. Porém, os hackers que apareceram no radar da tecnologia espiã mais sofisticada que existe eram garotos que estavam em casa, em Londres.
The young men that were launching these attacks, they didn't go from London, which is the environment they were in, directly to New York. They'd go from London through South Africa, through Mexico, and then to the United States.
A tecnologia da comunidade dos hackers expandiu rápido desde os ataques ao Staff Bomber. Na época, o Departamento de Defesa calculou o número de invasões aos seus sistemas. O resultado foi extraordinário.
Over 250,000 times in 1995, someone other than a DoD employee was in charge of a DoD system. Now, if that isn't the foundation for an electronic Pearl Harbor, I don't know what is.
7 anos depois, nova tecnologia traz novas vulnerabilidades. Chris O'Farrell é um mocinho que protege os sistemas do governo americano e se vê como um soldado numa batalha sem fim.
Definitely there's a battle between the black hats and the white hats. It's an ever-ongoing battle. It's like digging a hole in the sand. The more and more you work, the more and more it fills up. Vulnerabilities are found every day.
Chris está do lado dos Anjos, mas hoje ele fará o que os hackers chamam de War Drive. Ele se dirige ao coração do governo federal para expor uma nova entrada para os hackers, criada pelo uso crescente de sistemas sem fio.
We use the same techniques, methodologies, and all that hackers use in order to basically secure networks for the U.S. government, financial institutions, and other types of agencies.
Como inúmeras empresas, vários departamentos do governo usam redes sem fio. Vulnerável aos hackers na rua, equipados com kits simples.
All that you need to put together a war driving rig is what they call it. I have a GPS receiver. I have my antenna and my wireless card, which I've pieced together here. You can tell it's been used quite a bit.
O que Chris chama de War Drive é uma espécie de pesca eletrônica, a cata de sistemas de comunicação sem fio.
Every time you hear a beep on the computer, you know it's another wireless network. There you go. I just found a couple. And up on Capitol Hill, you'll just start going crazy. It'll sound like a pinball machine here. There's one. Got another one. Every building around here is a federal building. All right in front of the federal building, we just got another network.
Olhando na tela, Chris pode avaliar quanto vai levar para invadir esses sistemas que anunciam a sua presença nas ruas do Capitólio. A maioria nem está protegida por códigos.
Right now I have 20 networks on my computer. Out of the 20, only 6 of them have encryption. It would take me probably about 20 seconds out of 14 out of the 20 networks for me to reconfigure my wireless card and enter these networks. They can spend millions of dollars on security, have firewalls, and have all kinds of internal policies, but it only takes one person with one wireless access point to plug in. Anybody sitting where I am in my car right now can break into a government network in about 20 seconds. Well, what I've seen today, it really disturbs me. I don't understand why there's wireless access points beaconing out these signals out onto the roads, out into the parking lots of these government buildings in Washington, D.C.
Mas os hackers não precisam estar perto para entrar na infoguerra.
Chinese President Jiang Zemin has urged the United States to stop all spy flights near China for the sake of healthy development of China-US relations.
Após a colisão de um caça chinês com um avião espião americano, hackers chineses fizeram uma guerra contra os Estados Unidos.
Chinese hackers banded together and for a period of a week they showed solidarity and compromised over 10,000 U.S. systems in a period of a week. So we saw that basically a loose group of hackers with one common political motivation can cause significant damage.
Após a primeira onda de ataques, uma nova espécie de vírus foi liberada, aparentemente lançado na China. Atacou sistemas feitos em inglês americano, foi chamado de Code Red.
Viruses spread among computer systems just the way cold spread among, grade school classrooms.
O Code Red imitava as ações de um hacker e com sistemas bichados invadia outros sistemas.
Significant portions of the internet were either disabled or infected as a byproduct of the rapid propagation of the Code Red worm.
This propagation was so dramatic and so fast, and the cascading effect of hundreds of attacks coming from each infected computer simply overwhelmed the internet.
O Code Red agia quando o relógio do computador marcava certas datas e horários.
We noticed that, it stops propagating when the system clock in the computer turns to the 20th of the month. It begins a new phase of activity, and that phase of activity, as we discovered, was to launch a distributed denial of service attack against the White House website.
A invasão vinha de uma universidade chinesa.
In the last line of the software code, it says, hacked by Chinese.
A Casa Branca alterou o número no endereço do site, mas o efeito do Code Red era duradouro.
Code Red was potentially a test to see if automated info war would work. If other key components of the internet infrastructure had been targeted by Code Red instead of just a web server, we could have seen massive amount of damage.
It was the most serious episode in the health of the internet in the history of the internet.
Enquanto o ciberterrorismo é uma ameaça inevitável ao futuro, a realidade é que os hackers que invadem sites importantes têm motivações menos alarmantes.
The Department of Defense in the United States, of course, is like the Mount Everest of the targets that you can go after. I planted my flag in a Pentagon computer system. That's a wonderful thing. They really didn't want to hurt the Pentagon computer system. They didn't want to look at any information. They just wanted to get it in there and get it planted, and then brag about it amongst their peers.
Tal reconhecimento motivou o adolescente que foi taxado de um dos hackers mais notórios. Na rede, é conhecido como Coldfire. Mas o nome verdadeiro é segredo. Seu rosto ainda não é famoso, mas seus feitos fizeram dele uma celebridade.
Britain's most notorious hacker, and most people who were involved in the hacking community, and a lot of the people that were involved in the security industry would know my name straight away. I'd say I'm still famous in that group of people. Yeah, it feels great. Ask a film star how they feel about being famous.
Coldfire foi taxado de o mais notório após invadir o sistema de uma grande empresa de telefonia celular e transferir as ligações de seu celular para que outros pagassem a conta.
Obviously, hacking is a criminal offence, and the people that are doing it need to remain anonymous. But not only that, you get a lot of jealousy from the kiddies trying to get up to your level, and they'd want to find out who you are, get more details on you, that sort of thing. So that's why most of us at the top would prefer to remain anonymous.
Analisar as atitudes de hackers como Coldfire é o trabalho de Eric Raymond. Ele se diz um antropólogo de hackers e revela um lado da cultura e filosofia deles, que é parte da batalha por cyberdireitos e como eles são vistos pelo resto do mundo.
I describe myself as a wandering anthropologist and troublemaking philosopher, and for more than 20 years I've been part of the culture of internet hackers, and I've both functioned within that culture and tried to describe it to other people.
Let's see, we got the guest machine over here.
Eric faz parte da tradição hacker.
Bed down here where hackers sometimes stay when they come to visit, and we provide them with all the courtesies.
Eles têm um código claro de ética. Trocam programas e resistem ao domínio das grandes empresas comerciais de software. Hackers como Eric raramente invadem sem ser convidados.
I haven't done anything like that since 1977. There have been once or twice since then that I have broken into systems just to verify that a vulnerability was there, but proper hacker courtesy is to immediately notify the system administrators that the hole is present and how to plug it.
Those two are from Korea, that one's from
Ele
West
estuda os
Africa.
sujeitos como se fizessem parte de uma grande tribo,
And those two are from Indonesia.
mas não gosta do que eles fazem. Ele tenta desonrar gente como Coldfire e Capitão Zap, que difamam os hackers. Além disso, em vez de hackers, quer que se chamem crackers.
Crackers are people who break into computer systems and commit vandalism and computer crime. They're generally neither very bright nor very skilled. You can distinguish them from hackers by the fact that they typically use pseudonyms or handles to describe their identities. Hackers don't do this. But the real difference is more fundamental. Hackers make things. Crackers only know how to break them.
A Bíblia do hacker, escrita por Eric, é um New Hacker's Dictionary e expõe a ética que ele quer que o mundo entenda. Mas sua luta para dar aos bandidos um outro nome levou a uma guerra de palavras com um outro dicionário. Em Oxford, na Inglaterra, o uso do termo hacker está sendo revisto para a próxima edição do mais antigo e maior dicionário da língua inglesa, o Oxford English Dictionary. Como parte da pesquisa, Nick Shearing consulta o dicionário de Eric, mas discorda dele sobre a definição de hacker.
I think most people who use English throughout the world would understand a hacker to be someone who breaks into a computer system.
Mas isso está errado, segundo Eric, que decidiu lutar por sua definição.
Hackers build software, they maintain the internet. Hackers are the culture that invented the World Wide Web as we know it today. We make stuff and we improve the world.
It's very hard to make people choose a certain word to describe a phenomenon when there is already a word existing, which unfortunately for people who object to hacker being used is hacker.
The culture of internet hackers owns the word hacker and a lot of the slang that's associated with it. And the fact that people outside that culture use it incorrectly is not a warrant to change its meaning.
Apesar da missão de Eric, os atos dos bandidos pesam sobre todos os hackers.
A hacker is somebody who enters the system without authorization.
Hackers today are electronic juvenile delinquents.
I don't like being confused with a group of people who, by and large, I think are incompetent and unimaginative.
Por trás da guerra de termos, há uma luta séria. Eric teme pelo futuro dos cyberdireitos se não soubermos a diferença entre hackers e os criminosos da informática, os crackers.
I think it's important for people to understand that the culture of computer hackers is a benign one. Otherwise, to the extent that we're confused with criminal crackers, we become a justification for bad laws and for censorship and repression.
O medo dos legisladores tomarem o cyberespaço deixou a vida do hacker John Perry Barlow bem diferente. Ele fazia as canções do Grateful Dead e fundou a Electronic Frontier Foundation, que faz lobby pelos cyberdireitos.
What we're dealing with is the battle between the future and the past, between the powers that were and the powers that have yet to be.
Para ele, a internet é uma mudança na história tanto quanto a revolução industrial que nos deu a ponte do Brooklyn. E resume esse novo mundo na sua declaração de independência do cyberespaço.
Governments of the industrial world, I come from cyberspace, the new home of mind. On behalf of the future, I ask you of the past to leave us alone. You are not welcome here. You have no sovereignty where we gather. You do not know us, nor do you know our world. Cyberspace does not lie within your borders. Your legal concepts of property, expression, identity, movement, and context do not apply to us. They are all based on matter, and there is no matter here.
Essa filosofia pôs John numa outra luta. John e sua fundação apoiam uma das mais conhecidas e polêmicas formas de pirataria.
The hot commodity is stolen movies.
O alvo é Hollywood.
We want cyberspace to be as open to communications of all sorts as possible.
O filme mais esperado de 2002 foi Guerra nas Estrelas, episódio 2. Quando o relógio marcou meia-noite de 16 de maio, as bilheterias se abriram para quem tinha ficado 2 noites na fila.
27 hours. 18 hours. Yeah.
Porém, uma semana antes, os hackers já tinham visto o filme, que já estava disponível na internet. Uma semana antes da estreia mundial, nesse chat, os hackers trocavam o filme. De posse do filme roubado, os hackers o distribuíram invadindo os canais que alimentam a internet.
This is not just piracy. This depends on hacking, because the commodity is the bandwidth. Pirates have to use what we refer to as the big pipes, the multi-gigabit internet backbone connections to transfer data. I've heard one major internet ISP referred to as the blockbuster video of the internet, because their computers are so fast, so easy to hack, it's the best place to get movies.
Para ajudar na luta, Hollywood contratou um ex-agente do FBI. Ken Jacobson tem um papel difícil. Quase todos os filmes lançados pelos grandes caem na internet por meio dos hackers.
It's incredibly common. We have discovered that almost all of our movies, whether they are blockbusters or just regular movies, are up on the internet within 24 to 48 hours after the movie opens in the theaters in the United States.
Enquanto os heróis ajudam na luta pela telona, os bandidos do cyberespaço lutam a própria batalha.
It is certainly a hacker's battle. The hackers are the closest thing we have to troops, outside of the lawyers that EFF employs to take the motion picture industry and the record industry to court. The hackers are the people who are literally going out there and breaking the encryption codes and unbottling the stuff that needs to be accessible to everybody.
It amazes me because these are people who would never ever consider walking into a Tower record store or some other record store or a video store and walking out with a stolen CD or a stolen DVD or a stolen video cassette, but actually we'll go up on the internet and we'll take exactly the same product and we'll decide that it should be free and that it's not a theft that's occurred.
A luta continua entre a Electronic Frontier Foundation e os estúdios. Mas na cidade que deu tantos vilões heróicos, o moderno bando de delinquentes parece ser quem já está rindo por último. Como a primeira geração de hackers está com 40 anos, a luta entre os anjos e os bandidos possibilitou a muitos viver de suas habilidades. O Capitão Zap decidiu ganhar mudando de lado. O hacker antes conhecido como Capitão Zap, agora é Ian Murphy, diretor executivo.
The embodiment of Captain Zap with a business viewpoint. I'm a hacker. You might as well hack life to its fullest.
We will create a civilization of the mind in cyberspace. May it be more humane and fair than the world your governments have built before.
Hey, hacker boy.
I'm not saying that I've ever hacked, but I can understand the thrill firsthand.
You take a good close look at your average security person, he's a former black hat. I mean, in almost every case. You know, who still actually understands the thrill of it.
Some people like to bungee jump, some of them like to parachute, some of them like to, do all kinds of strange things, but hackers, it's a rush. I'm sure they do it for the rush effect.
Do I think it's a good thing to do? No. Do I want my kids doing it? No. But can I sort of understand it? Yeah, I think I can.
Your mind's going 100 miles per hour behind the scenes. You're thinking, I could be doing this, I could be doing that, I could exploit that, I could do this, I could do that. And you can't sit still and not think about that. It's always there in the back of your mind. You just need to do it.
A luta entre bandidos e anjos ainda continua. Mas hackers de ambos os lados sabem que estão lutando contra quem fala a mesma língua, usa as mesmas armas e prega as mesmas peças.
It's great. It's a wonderful thing to do, and it's like permanent employment as well.
We will spread ourselves across the planet so that no one may arrest our thoughts.